and the millions of supporters in Edo State are ready for this election. And we've done that by a very organic campaign process that has spanned the past few months. And our candidate, Asue Godalo, has demonstrated capacity by, one, engaging with the people, both in Nigeria and in diaspora, having several town hall meetings, several religious and cultural organizations, speaking to them about the prosperity for all agenda, which is consistent with the policies, trusts, and programs of the PDP. And that's exactly what democracy should be. It's a contestation of ideas, of views on how to improve the life of the people in line with the provision of why government exists, which is the security and the welfare of the people. And so we are ready for the election. And in contrast, the APC and its very, very unelectable, uninspiring, and dull candidate, one gentleman called Senator Monday Okwebolo, who has consistently refused to engage the press, who has refused to speak to the people of Edo State, and Nigeria by extension, who in disdain has been campaigning by proxy through Adams Oshomole, who has consistently debased womanhood. I mean, and this is very critical, we must understand this. In other climes where women matters, because indeed in any society where that is worthy of being called a society of modern age, the respect for women should be paramount. And I draw a contrast from the American campaign going on. The vice presidential candidate of the Republican Party, Senator Vance, had made a comment about a childless cat ladies. And that is trailing him, just one word. Compare that to the reckless, irresponsible statement of Senator Adams Oshomole, who referenced a woman, a lady, as being barren. I think that is reprehensible, but that's not the issue. But it goes to the root about what APC represents. This is their character. This is who they are. These days for women, and that's why as a party. And you saw that resonating with the people and the women in Edo State. Only 3 days ago, they were on the street to denounce that and to denounce the APC, because indeed we should denounce them. All the policies of the APC, it's against women. Because the women are the bedrock of a family. When there's hunger in the family, the woman feels it more because the kids are crying. When there's no medicine on the street or in the towns, and when kids are sick, the women feel it more. So every policy, the irresponsible removal of an incentive policy of removing petroleum subsidy, the crazy, and I put it crazy, floating of the naira when you are not producing, the inability even right now as you speak, when the government is irresponsible to even support Dangote refinery to cushion the fare because there's a massive behemoth of corruption. And they want to maintain that. And so when you see all those policies, they go back to women. And so they must wake up, and the Nigerian women should speak out. Today, the APC, because of their failure, has resorted to manipulation, to harassment, having some level of police officers misguided, as it were, and they're trying to frighten people from coming to vote on this election. You recall that severally here, we called you to come and have our stories. You've asked us, did you write letters from one of the last engagement? We did, to the police authorities, alerting about harassment, consistent action to frighten people, going on the street, whoever does not have the political Alignment with APC is considered to be a criminal, and we have seen that play out. We drew attention to this. And on several occasions we were alerted. And a team called the IG response team and thugs imported, and this is important, thugs imported from Kogi and Imo State, very notorious two states, you know that, where we have a governor who was number 4, became number 1 typically, where election, in the last election in Kogi, as at 9 a.m. results were already on the street. And so they now begin to be their specialists in crisis for elections. And so they are now being deployed to Edo State. We're saying, watch it. We know. We have information. This is their pedigree, and that is what I'm addressing you and the world through you today about that. Consistent with this pattern of harassment, arresting people, making sure that they threaten them. Only yesterday, and this is critical, and this is already, we've forwarded this to your own platform, of a video where the APC compromised police operatives. They attempted to abduct one of the members of our party in Nikoba, in Benin City. The video is already there in the public, and I've taken the liberty of our relationship to put in your platform, so you already have it, and I'm sure you can watch it. But one heroic moment there is what is important to us. Of a woman, again woman coming out, a recurring decimal of the strength and the character of women in this country. And they have history. In 1929, the Aba riot was led by women. We remember the Tinubu was a fearless woman. We remember the mother of Fela Nicola Kokuti. These are fearless women. I say, you know what? You can't do this. Yesterday, historically and heroically, that woman stopped the police from taking that man away from the street of Ikuba in Benin City. And that's to tell you the importance of women, and we celebrate the courage of that particular woman. He says, kill me if you must take him. And they failed to take him. Again, let us now expand that. That is the mood, and the president must be aware of this. And if President Tinubu is watching, this is to you. That is the mood in Edo State. That is the mood on the street of Edo State. The women are ready to defend that which belongs to them, the future of their children and their own future. That was demonstrated yesterday. And it should, INEC and police must be aware. That is the mood. Do not try anything funny at the election. We have already been alerted that APC has given fake, and this is again very key. Only 2 days ago, a particular man who has contested several elections in Edo State was found decorated in a police uniform. A member of the APC, decorated in a police officer's uniform, and has been using that to harass people. It's in the public domain. You can Google it and find out. It happened in Edo State. So right now they've moved another level by getting fake police uniforms and military uniforms that they intend to give to these thugs, apparently to harass people. And then we're saying to them, be careful. The Edo State people are determined, and it will be in the interest of APC and their apologies to ensure that that does not happen. The harassment and the torture of PDP members and supporters are going on with the knowledge, and this is key, with the Edo State Commissioner of Police and the IG. And we're calling on the IG to put stop to such actions so that we can have a free, fair, credible election where the will of the people would prevail. We are not bothered about the outcome of the election. What we need is just to have a fair process. If the APC is ready, if other parties are ready, let the people decide who governs them, and let it not be by proxy from any other thing other than the people. Against all this background now, we want to say that the PDP state in clear terms, and this is very important, that our party, the PDP, and the people of Edo State, we will not fold our arms, and this is clear, and allow the APC to intimidate the people, subvert their will on the Saturday election on September 21st. This party will not fold our arms. And you saw that reflected in the statement by the chairman, the acting national chairman of the party, at the flag off of the final and the concluding of our campaign in Edo over the weekend. We, the PDP, and the people of Edo State are for peace. But again, and it's clear to say this, we are not going to look for trouble. But if trouble comes, the people of Edo State will not take it. And that's already been demonstrated by the heroic action of the woman of yesterday that I referenced earlier. The Edo State people who have campaigned vigorously, who had worked hard, who had enjoyed PDP in the last 8 years, they cannot allow this to slip away because of some renegade of some individuals who feel that Edo State is a fiefdom that they must control. So, our people have the support of the leadership of the party to go and defend their votes and ensure that whatever is thrown at them, they receive it, and they're ready. Evidence of that was what happened yesterday. That was a single issue, and you saw women coming out. And a particular woman came out, and we salute her courage because she knows that the future of herself, of her family, of her children depends on what happens in this election. And it's important to know that the life of 4 million or thereabout Edo people are involved. And that's a critical issue for us as a party. Let's have an election that will be free, that will be fair, that will be credible, and we can all celebrate the outcome. Because election should be celebration, it shouldn't be war. But APC has consistently brought war to people. We recall what happened in Kogi State. We recall what happened in the governorship election in Imo State, where the governor, Hope Uzodinma, went mad with regards to election processes. He went bad to the point that they even attacked the Nigerian Labour Congress president. I mean, those are issues that we should. Now, his hands and fingers are seen in Edo with deployment of thugs. Yaya Bello, who is fighting for corruption, a man who has been in hiding for stealing so much money. I understand he surrendered himself. I don't know if he did. But these are the character that we find in APC because it's a comfort zone for criminals. You recall Oshomole said then, Chairman, that if you have stolen, come here. He will take you. You remember that famous statement by Oshomole when he was chairman of APC? That if you have sinned, you can come to River APC, like the River Jordan, and you walk through, the leprosy will be gone. The leprosy of corruption, of irresponsibility, of being so wicked to people, to be insensitive, walk through River APC, you'll be cleansed. That's why you have the characters that are there today. So, we caution on very unmistakable terms that henceforth the APC thugs, fake or compromised security operatives that attempt to abduct, like they tried yesterday, between now and election day, any attempt by them will be resisted by Edo State people, and they have the support of the leadership of this party to do so. Let's have an election. Let's have a peaceful election. Let's celebrate whoever wins. Let Edo State decide between moving forward, having a kind of continuity in progress, having a man who has first degrees, flying colors in the best universities, from University of Ibadan to London School of Economics to reading law and all of that, as compared to a man who they claim, I don't have any reason to doubt them, is a palabita, because all the tanker trawlers recognize him as one of them, because that's where he goes to. A man who said publicly that he's going to bring insecurity to Edo State as a means of his campaign. A man who says, we will give you the mineral resources. I mean, sounding like the days of Bakinzuo. It's sad. And for a state like Edo State that want, it's cosmopolitan, very educated people, savvy people, people who believe in their dignity, as demonstrated even under the colonial masters, they stood up to say no. And to find out in 21st century, you're having these characters to be kind of a party where they're entitled to that. But we got a candidate that is really ready, capable, has a track record in business, in law, in academic, in consultancy, and is recognized worldwide. I think that's what should be the determining thing. And in any event, the election in Edo State is a referendum on the failure of the APC. And I'm not sure any Nigerian will vote for APC in this election, having regard to what we go through now. We all feel it. We all feel it. And we can't pretend about that. So we have directed our members in line with this line, having regard to what happened yesterday. They are fired up. Our people are fired up, ready to defend. And in addition, we as a political party have directed the people in Edo State, our members, and those who are apolitical, who wants to vote freely and fairly, to get ready for the election. Get your PVC ready. Get ready for this election. Check it out today. Keep it in a safe place. Like 48 hours to the election. Get it ready. Get your PVCs ready so you don't make mistake. And they should equip themselves, because they should expect at any time that they could be attacked, like they tried yesterday. A self-defense mechanism, which is majorly the power of women, the power of the youth, and the power of everybody in Edo State to say, no, we do not want this. We want a free, fair, and credible election. Don't arrest anybody, don't harass them. Enough is enough. And APC should hear it. And again, I'm calling on the Mr. President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You have a responsibility to Nigerians. You have a responsibility to the United Nations. You have a responsibility to the European Union that have been supportive of democratic development in this country to ensure that the election in Edo State is free, fair, and credible. Mr. President, do that. That is your office. Let the IG that you supervise ensure a free and a conducive environment for the election. Tell the INEC chairman that you control to ensure that the vote of the people counts. It is on you to ensure that a Edo State election goes free, fair, and credible and transparent. That's all we need. And that is what your office demands. Because you say you uphold the Constitution and all the laws. The Electoral Act is a law that you have obligation, you have a duty as the president to uphold. We invite our members and supporters to go to their respective polls that day, like I said earlier, and to equip themselves with water. Buy your water and keep it. Get some food. If you have medication, take it. And go to the polls. They should remain calm. They should be law-abiding, because we have always been. And that's why in the last couple of weeks we've been saying, this is coming. This is the plan. And then we said it. We alerted through you that this is the plan, to arrest people, to harass them. Somebody comes to PDP, he becomes a criminal by that act alone. That can't be, that's Gestapo. That cannot be democracy, where you have the freedom of choice and association are guaranteed in the Constitution. So we're telling our people, go to the polls, be law-abiding, get your water, get your few snacks, and on the day of election, go and vote. And I was saying in very clear terms, when you vote as members or as citizens who are desirous of voting, vote. You go vote. Vote. After voting, sit down there. At the end of voting, supervise and witness the counting. And upon counting the vote, let result be directly uploaded before you leave. And we're telling our agents, again, this is very important. We have trained our agents so much well. They're very conversant with even the Electoral Act, the processes that guides election. And so the presiding officers, the SPOs, and all INEC officials should be aware. The agents of the PDP have gone through intensive care to understand the process and the procedures. After the counting of election and after the release, they will snap, and they're entitled to that, take a photograph of the results that are declared. And they will send to our own, what we call situation room, where we are doing online real-time collation, so that we have the results. It should be transparent. It should be fun. Now suddenly, the APC has militarized democracy and made it look as if we're going to war. We don't need war. And like somebody said in Benin, he said, we don't want trouble. And note this, please. We don't want trouble, and we don't give trouble. But if you bring trouble to us, we will not run. That is the mood in this state. The president should be aware of that. Police should be aware of that. INEC should be aware of that. That the people are saying, we don't want trouble, we want peace. But if you bring trouble, we will match it up. You saw that played out yesterday. That is to tell you. And who stopped it yesterday was a woman. And we salute their courage, we salute their dexterity in these issues. The time of the election, and we must clear, it's clear in favor of the PDP. We know that. Because we have campaigned, we walked around. There have been independent opinion polls. We don't work on opinion, but we work on the people. But the kind of reception and the fact that this candidate, Dr. Asue Godalo, a phenomenal gentleman, a great communicator, a man who has all that requires for development, a man who's a consultant, a man who's a lawyer, a man who's the chairman of several companies that are successful, from banking to manufacturing. Edo can ask for more in terms of capacity. Contrast that to the other, which I don't even want to mention, because there's no business for contrasting. It's like comparing death and life. So we're going to call on INEC, which is key, and the police, not to allow the APC to pitch them against the people of Edo State and Nigerians. Because any action that is not consistent with their roles and what is expected of them in this election, the people of Edo State will view them as being against their interests, and they will react. We saw that yesterday. The woman stepped forward. That woman, historically looked like Rosa Parks, that brought about the civil disobedience movement in civil rights in the United States, when there was segregation between the blacks and the white. And she sat down on a bus. And ordinarily, she was expected to get up when a white man comes in or a white person comes in. And he said, no, I won't stand up. To say, no, this injustice must not stand. And that was the beginning of that movement that brought in people like Martin Luther King. Who knows? Mr. President, watch it, tell your people to do the right thing. The woman yesterday can be compared to Rosa Parks. Finally, gentlemen, the PDP, we have information, and this is key, very important. We have information that some unscrupulous INEC officials, we are aware of that, they have concluded plans to give result sheets. That's what they do. That's what happened in the Kogi. There were result sheets already as at 9 a.m. when certain polls are not even open. We are saying, we are aware that some unscrupulous INEC officials, they've concluded plans to give INEC result sheets to APC. So we call on INEC, and this is the key of the whole conversation, to ensure that endorsement of all resources. Tomorrow is the distribution of materials, or Friday morning. So we are saying and we're asking that all resources must have endorsement of the resident electoral commissioners. We know we have challenges with the REC and the police, who are apologies of an individual, and it's in the public domain. All right? But having said that, we're saying that all resources that will be issued out on election day from the date of distribution from the CBN in Benin, one must be endorsed by the resident electoral commissioner and the national commissioner for the zone or whichever zone that is assigned for the Edo election. For authentication, there will be double signatures on every result sheet that will be going out for the purposes of the election. And this must be done at the time of the distribution. So they're there to sign off on the result sheets that are going to every local government, that is going to every ward, that is going to every unit. That way, we can begin to say, we can do tracing, we can do the source, we can have the integrity, and they will know that these documents are coming from the source, and the result coming from there will be the only authentic result. INEC should do that so that the people of Edo State, and indeed Nigeria, and of course, the European Union, the United States, the United Kingdom, will know that indeed this is a transparent, clear, and free election. So we thank you, gentlemen of the press, for your time as always. And this is what we're saying. Let INEC, and we emphasize this, that result sheets must be authenticated by two officials of INEC, the REC and the national commissioner for the zone, or whoever is assigned or deployed for that election must sign every and all of the result sheets, 1 for the local government, 2 for the wards, and 3 for the units. The Poland, when Les Walensky was the leader of the labor union, the power of the people is above every gun and every might. Where's Walesa, you remember? Of Poland. And later became the president of that country. It is the power of the people, whatever you call the might, is dependent on the people. And that was demonstrated yesterday. And that is one single power of a woman, and prevented half a dozen policemen from arresting one man. Just imagine the replication of that, which is already brewing and ready to deploy in Edo State for this election. Let me tell you this. If the APC wants trouble, and it's clear, Shomole, the chairman, whoever it is, the president, if the APC want trouble, I can tell you they have it in a very surplus supply in Edo State. Our people in Edo State will use legitimate weapon, and means available to them in a democratic setting to fight back. It started yesterday. I mean, that's a signal of what can happen. So, the caution and the advice should be for the president, because it's important. He has a duty to ensure that there is peace and security in every part of Nigeria. It is his duty. Beyond politics, He's been elected. He is the president. But his legacy will be that what did you do in that office? Did you use it to enhance the peace and security of Nigeria? Or do you use it for violence and creating stability in a part of the country, which will have resonating effect on his presidency and his record? I think that's more important. Our people are going to fight back head to head and with an overwhelming force, if necessary, to protect, I hear this, to protect and ensure that nobody, no matter whether you call it might, I don't know what you call it, will subvert their will and render their votes nugatory and useless. So they're going to fight for it. And it's not what I say. It's not me telling them to do it. I don't even know that woman that fought yesterday and prevented an illegal arrest. There are thousands of that on the street and in every nook and corners of Edo State. So, sir, let the federal might, in quotes, know that beyond every might, there's power of God, and beyond that, the powers reside in the people, and is deployed through the women because they control the homes. And you saw that happen yesterday. So there will be many more of that. If they don't stop that, stop the talks from Kogi, stop the talk from Imo, tell the specialists in the election rigging to stop. Edo no be Kogi. That is the slogan right now. Edo no be Kogi.
Okay, AIT, you can ask your question. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
We don't deal with supposition. Suppose. We don't. When you write an exam, sir, and you have done well, you know you pass. If you have that result that is not concerned with what you know, you can deal with that. However, in Edo State, we're saying if you follow the process, there will be that is free, that is fair, that is transparent, that is credible. PDP will win because we have worked for it. And that is why we're concerned about the people that the APC government has deployed in the police and the INEC. And we've drawn attention to that. Now we've gone past that level. And that's why the people are saying, you know what? Don't kid us. Don't play with us. This is about our life. About 4 million lives is involved in the Edo State in terms of the population. No. We want to vote. We want to count the votes. And we are very confident from all reports, from all opinion polls, independent, that is not even done by us, and shown us clearly above 60% for voters that will vote. Sir, I'm sure your agency, the AIT, has been very, very vocal. You are frontal in this. You've been reporting the campaigns. And you know, sir, that even if I don't want to get from you know that the APC is not well. That's why you will find another somebody abusing women, telling them, and that's why we describe him as a man who will say to a widow, go and die. All right? So inconsiderate. That's who they are. We campaign on issues. We talk about how to have prosperity for all, expand goodness, and say the pursuit of happiness. They don't have that. So the supposition about losing does not even come. Because we will not lose, we will win. And they better know that we will win, and they should not do anything that will pit them against the people of Edo State. Again, this has a very large ramification for democracy in Nigeria. And we must know that. Any crisis from this election arising from any manipulation could trigger a serious issue and threat to the democracy. And Mr. President should know that he shouldn't do that. Because there'll be history. And that's what we stand. Our people are ready. 1, to vote. 2, to defend the vote. 3, to stay there. And to ensure that nobody harasses anybody between now and the election. What we are doing here as a party is to focus on the issues. And whatever anybody characterizes himself, whether rock or rocket or whatever, won't take our own attention. We're concerned about 4 million people. And the history of the world is replete with example. When the people speaks, like he referenced earlier, no federal might. And I gave example of Poland. It was a movement. I gave example of Marcos in the Philippines with his wife with 3,000 shoes. They left, they fled, and died in exile in the United States. We don't want to talk about individuals. We're focused on the election. We're not looking at, we have told INEC, we have expressed our concern about, because you see, perception is important. And if there's a perception that somebody cannot be free and fair, then if that agency truly wants to conduct a free and fair election, is to excuse that individual. But if they don't, that's why the Edo people are going a level higher. That's why you saw the fight on the street yesterday, where a woman stopped about 6 police officers from arresting somebody illegally. Expect more of that if they continue that way. I hope they don't, and I don't think they will, because it's not in the interest of Nigeria to do that. Mr. President, please stop that trend. Allow for a free and fair and credible and transparent election in Edo State. Speak to your Inspector General of Police. Speak to INEC chairman to do that which is right, so that Edo people can have peace, and by extension Nigeria can have peace. I thank you, gentlemen, for this